This is Michael with Clearview Sewer Cams. It is December 29th, 2023. We are located at 5908 Wilkinson Avenue, Valley Village, California, 91607. We are performing a waste line and sewer line inspection on the front house through a 3-inch ABS plastic cleanout in the crawl space on the left-hand side of the house. We're going to set our camera right at the opening and zero out our camera monitor so we get a good accurate reading. And we're going to begin pushing in the cleanout. We transition immediately to cast iron. We're going to be running through the waste line and attempt to get out to the sewer line. We could not locate a mainline sewer cleanout outside the house, so we're going to try and get all the way out to the city through this cleanout. It may be difficult, but we're going to try it. The cast iron has some buildup, which is common. Doesn't look terrible at this time. This is common buildup in the cast iron. Cast iron is probably original to the house. And I don't know, I believe the house is probably about 1960, maybe somewhere in that range. We'll check and find out later. But the buildup in the cast iron is common. Generally get about 80 years, anywhere from 80 years to 120 years out of cast iron. The older cast iron is better than the newer cast iron, so it will hold up much longer. We're going to continue to push out. We're pushing out through the house now, and now it looks like we're going to transition to a section of ABS plastic. We're going to locate this area. We've got a pretty large offset right here. It's dropping down. You can see the top of the fitting. It's not lined up correctly. So we're going to pause and we're going to locate this area. Okay, we located this area, and we did locate mainline cleanout buried in the planter at the front of the house. We do have a large offset. Then we've got another, going just a little bit, we've got another coupling, and the piping was cut kind of jagged. It's kind of rough. It wasn't cleaned real well when it was put together. We've got another offset right here that is just outside the planter, and then we're into ABS. We're not going to make it all the way through here to the street, so we're going to pull back now. And then we're going to relocate our equipment to the front of the house, to the mainline sewer cleanout that we located with the camera. And we'll run through there, out to the street. So we're going to pull back slowly now. We've already taken a good look at everything. Yeah, that's a really large offset that's buried down in the planter area. And that needs to be excavated and realigned, because that will cause problems. And it looks like we can see the dirt. We've got some scaling. Don't see any holes or any root intrusions in the cast iron at this point. Maybe minor little hairline roots. Pull back just a little bit. Little hairline root possibly. As I said, the cast iron is older, but I don't see anything major at this point in the cast iron. It's still maintainable at this point, but it may not last a whole lot longer. You might get a few years out of it. In time, it will have to be replaced. Pulling back toward our clean out. as I said, the cast iron is still maintainable at this point. You do have some root intrusion off to the left, which tells me that the roots have penetrated the cast iron. You do have some pinholes in the cast iron underneath the ground. Yeah, just root intrusion now. So there's small holes in the cast iron where the roots are growing in through the cast iron. So we're pulling back to our clean out, and we'll relocate our equipment. Okay, we're going to go ahead and relocate our equipment now. We're going to pause for a moment. Okay, we've relocated our equipment. This is to the left of the front door, and there is a brick planter area, and we did locate a mainline cleanout that was buried up underneath a little bit of gravel in the planter area. And we're going to zero out our camera monitor here. Again, get a good accurate reading. I'm going to attempt to run out to the city sewer now. We are back in ABS plastic. It appears that this section of the line and maybe the whole line was replaced to the street. And it does appear to be ABS plastic. It does not appear to be trenchless pipe because we're going to check the joint real quick coming up to it and see if it's rolled. Go in a little more. Yeah, that is rolled. It is a trenchless sewer line. It was pulled by means of pipe bursting. And this is a good type of sewer line, good piping, HDPE piping. So it was pulled trenchlessly, but the connections right here at the clean out area were not joined real well. I'm going to continue to push out toward the city sewer. And we are going out toward Wilkinson Avenue. Coming up to another fitting. We're going to just check that real quick. We're going to locate this area. We believe it is the test Y, probably at the property line, but we're going to take a look real quick. Okay, we located this area in the front grass, just to the right of the driveway at 5 foot 6 inches deep. And this is the Y, most likely from the ADU in the back. So we're going to continue running out. Got a little rough joint there where they tied in the ADU. Now we're pushing out toward the street. And now we're transitioning to vitreous clay. Still 4-inch vitreous clay here. We'll probably transition to the lateral momentarily, or this could be the lateral. The joints in the vitreous clay so far appear to be in fair and maintainable condition. And we may have a 4-inch lateral running out to the street. That joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no problem.
A little bit of root intrusion in this joint, but still maintainable. Just hairline roots. Okay. Little tiny bit of an offset, but not terrible. We have some root intrusion. We have root intrusion here. We're going to pause and we're going to locate this area as well.
Yes, before you're on the audio. You'll be that old also when you finish yours?
Yep. Okay, we've located this area. We are about 10 feet out into the street. We should be coming up on the city sewer here momentarily. And we are, let's see, I think that might be the saddle. We have root intrusion in this area. and we drop into the city sewer right there. We're gonna mark the saddle. We have considerable root intrusion in the saddle area. Pull back some more. Keep going. Keep going. A little more. This is the saddle connection. As I said, we do have a considerable amount of root intrusion here, and looks like a fairly large offset. We're going to mark this area, so we're going to pause again for a moment. Okay, we located this area in the street, and we marked it with white paint at 6 foot 6 inches deep with an arrow. We're going to begin pulling back now, and you can see it's holding water right there a little bit because of the root intrusion. It may be able to be maintained. I would recommend hydrojetting, re-inspecting, and if it's not broken, then start using a chemical called Root X, ROOTX, and that will keep the roots at bay and slow the root growth. It's kind of hard to see exactly what the joint looks like because there is quite a bit of root intrusion. And this is the transition from ABS plastic to vitreous clay, which is in the front yard area. And that joint appeared to be in fair and maintainable condition. We're going to continue to pull back to our clean out in the planter area. We've got some water running. Let's see what we have there.
That's that spot that we located.
Yeah, that's the Y area. We have roots or just building now. It's good. Yeah, that's the Y area. So that was the Y right there coming from the ADU. So we're going to continue to pull back. We looked at this whole line all the way out. Right now we have some water running, so it's a little harder to see. We're going to continue to pull up and out of our clean out. As I said, we have some joints right there that are not aligned properly right by the clean out area that we could see as we ran through the clean out in the crawl space on the left hand side of the house. We're going to pause for a moment. We're going to relocate to the ADU. Okay, we relocated our equipment and we are behind the ADU at the back of the property. There's a tankless water heater in the back. And this is the separate ADU all the way at the back of the property. And we have a 3-inch ABS plastic clean out. We're going to zero out our camera monitor again, right at the opening. And we're going to begin pushing through the ABS plastic. Have a little debris in there. Probably some mud fell down in there when they were putting it together, and it's kind of hard to get that out unless you really flush it with a hose or something. We have ABS plastic. Yeah, I have an inlet. We have an inlet there, probably from the bathroom. Should be going straight through the building.
Cockeyed down.
Little rough joint there. Just a cut on the ABS plastic. They didn't ream it and clean it real well when they put it together, so it's a little bit rough, but not terrible. You have a little bit of a flat spot holding just a tiny bit of water, not terrible. And the home inspector's been inside running water. We have a little tiny bit of water sitting at the bottom. And we'll take a good look at this joint. That joint wasn't cut real clean either. Give it a little bit more. Yeah, that joint wasn't aligned real well and wasn't cut real clean, and as you can see, it's holding a little bit of paper. So we're going to push up against that joint. We're going to locate that area right there. Pause for a moment. Okay, we located this area in the closet on the west end of the ADU in the front bedroom area, and we are at approximately 2 feet deep in the closet area. Now this area may or may not cause a problem. It's catching paper now, so it could cause stoppages possibly, and it may need to be realigned. I'm trying to push out past the paper. And we also located another mainline sewer cleanout on the other side of the ADU, on the west end of the ADU, that was buried. We're going to try and push out from here if we can. If we can't, we're going to relocate and run through the other cleanout. I'm going to continue to push out toward the front of the property and the street. So far, this portion of the ABS plastic appears to be in fair and maintainable condition. We have long lengths, approximately 20 feet of ABS plastic piping, and then fittings. Now we have some buildup in here. We'll take a look. We'll continue to push out. We have some buildup in here, maybe because the line was running a little flat, possibly, or we had some stoppages, and that's how you get the buildup. Root intrusion?
No, it's after the fitting.
Just build up.
There.
You can push through it. Pull back to it. See what it did. Yeah, we have some serious buildup in this area. So more than likely we're running flat, and we're getting buildup in the line. So this line is going to have to be cleaned periodically to keep the line from stopping up. Pushing out toward the front of the property. By the front yard, there's a Y connection that ties this ADU in. We have another fitting. We're just gonna locate that area real quick. We're gonna pause. Okay, we located another buried mainline clean out underneath the gravel on the right hand side of the front house area, where I believe it was a garage and now an ADU. So we marked it with an orange flag so they can keep track of it and maybe put something over it in time or mark it somehow. This way they don't lose it. Okay, we're going to continue to push out now. Another tie-in. It has a tie-in probably from the front ADU.
2-inch.
Yeah. Continue to push out, and we're making a turn. Water. Gonna pause for a moment. We're going to run some water. Okay, we've got water running. We're going to continue to run out until we get to, if we can, till we get to the vitreous clay. If we can make it from here. Water helps us to push the cable out, kind of lubricates it in a way. Making a turn. we're going to pause right there and locate that area. Okay, we're going to begin pulling back a little bit now. We've still got inspectors around running water, but should be dissipating. We've already looked at the entire line all the way out, and that was the Y, that was the branch in the front yard that we marked with an orange flag. I believe it was about 5 foot 6 inches deep. We're going to continue to pull back now. Then we're going to relocate to another clean out right on the right hand side of the house for the other ADU that was put in the front.
There we go. Doing it wrong.
So we're pulling back from the front of the main house. I believe the garage was turned into an ADU, and that's where we're coming up along the side and then along the main house. Got a long run. Looks to be graded fairly well. We're not holding water in areas where you get big bellies that we could see. We just have that one area that we had some buildup in the line. There's probably a little flat spot there. We may come back through some water on the way back. Or it could just be that when they're using the ADU with low flow toilets and such, and if you don't really use a shower back here, you're just using the sinks in the kitchen and maybe the toilet, then everything's just only going to push out a certain distance and it will build up, which is kind of common in lines that are really, really long and that may not be used all that frequently. So we're going to continue to pull back. We had the buildup in here. You can see where it's stuck to the pipe. That may just flush through in time. I don't believe that it does need to be hydrojetted. Even with the water that we ran, it seemed to flush through quite a bit. We ran the shower and we ran 2 sinks and flushed the toilet. So got a considerable amount of water going through here, which seemed to help push it through. Plus with our camera head, we break it up as we're going through. There's a little bit of debris in there. Got a little flat spot here. You can see it's holding water in the bottom of the pipe. It's not draining out 100%. On long runs like this, coming from an ADU back here all the way to the front of the house, that's a long way to go. And getting a few flat spots here and there is very common. It doesn't appear to be terrible. And if the ADU is used regularly enough and they flush enough water through, I don't believe they'll have an issue. A little bit of dirt clod or something from probably construction. In time, that should flush through. Got a really rough spot right there where they cut the pipe and it's jagged. And that area, I believe, is in the closet. And that can catch paper. It was catching paper earlier and can cause a stoppage. It may need to be fixed. Push back here.
This looks like glue.
That might be glue. That might be an overpour of glue, actually. Because I can see the glue at the bottom to the left a little bit. That may be a little piece of glue that they overpoured the glue. Might be able to run a snake through there and cut that so it's not catching paper. I'm going to continue to pull back. It's kind of hard to see sometimes, but it does look like overpoured glue. Get a snake with blades in there, spinning, you can knock that down and cut it out so it doesn't catch any paper and cause any issues. Pulling back toward our mainline sewer clean out at the rear of the main ADU at the back of the property. And there is also another clean out that we marked with an orange flag on the other side of the ADU on the west side that was buried. And it's good to know where all the clean outs are. We got quite a bit of debris in here, but that's really just in the clean out area. This can be flushed out pretty well. Generally, you put a hose down in here and flush that real well to get that debris out of there. And now we'll conclude the inspection from the ADU, and we're going to pause for a moment and relocate our camera equipment. Okay, we've relocated our camera equipment to the front right hand side of the house, what used to be the garage, I believe, in the new ADU. And we're going to insert our camera, zero out our camera monitor again, and we're going to take a look at this section of the line out toward the street. This is a shorter run than the other ones. We're going to take a look at this line, make sure we don't have any flat spots or big bellies or anything else. Got a tie in here to, I believe, the bathroom. We're going to take a look after, but there is a line that's coming out of the front right hand corner of the building, the house, by what I think was the garage at the time. It is an ADU. There's a 2-inch ABS plastic line that's coming out of the house that also needs to be painted. Part of it's painted, part of it's not. You can't have ABS plastic exposed to the sun, so that line needs to be painted at least. We're going to continue pushing out. Going to try and get out to the vitreous clay. So far, the ABS plastic appears to be in fair and maintainable condition. Making a drop. Going out toward the vitreous clay line, which we've already inspected. We're going to get out to the vitreous clay, and then that's going to complete the inspection of the ADU at the front of the house, which I believe was the garage area. So now we're going to pull our camera back, and that will conclude our video waste line and sewer line inspection of the property. This line appears to be in fair and maintainable condition from here. Don't see any issues. Pulling back toward our clean out. And pull back toward our clean out. Got about a 50, 60 foot run on this line to the transition and out to the vitreous clay. That's the vitreous clay lateral. Lateral begins on the property in the grass area and runs out to the city sewer in the street on Wilkinson Avenue, which we did inspect and found root intrusion, which needs to be hydrojetted and cleaned. So we're going to continue to pull back.
You want water in that? You want water in that to see if it comes up?
Yeah, we can. We're going to pause for one moment, and we're going to run some water, and then we'll turn our video back. Okay, we ran water, and the water did come from behind us. You can see it trickling a little bit there. Just want to make sure we had all the tie-ins from the front ADU. There are 2 ADUs on the property. Now we're pulling up and out of our mainline sewer cleanout, and that will complete our video waste line and sewer line inspection of the property. Thank you.